So I'll tell you, Maisi, amongst the Tzadikim, there was always an ongoing debate, disagreement, the machlokes, about whether to perform open miracles or not. There was always a debate. On the one hand, if a tzaddik performs open miracles, it could strengthen Yidden. It'll inspire them to become more connected to Torah mitzvahs. On the other hand, the ideal is to believe in Hashem and to serve Hashem without proofs and without being compelled. So it was always a debate. One of the tzaddikim that was known for performing open miracles all the time was Rameir Primizhlaner. That was his opinion. Now, the truth is, and again, because he had that opinion, there were other tzaddikim that disagreed with him. Now, one of the tzaddikim that very much opposed the way of Rameir Primizhlaner was a tzaddik by the name of Rabbi Yudel, the Rebbe Rabbi Yudel. He was a big tzaddik in his own right, but he felt very, very strongly that one should not perform open miracles, and because of that, there was a little bit of a distance, of a coldness between him and Rameir Primizhlaner. But at some point down the line, they were able to sort of bury the hatchet and to make peace between them, and this is the story how. So the Maisa goes that there was a wealthy Jew who was a follower and a student of both Rameir Primizhlaner and this Rabbi Yudel. Now, this wealthy Jew, this Yid, didn't know that there was any conflict between Rameir and Rabbi Yudel. He didn't know, but that's what happened. Now, the situation is that this Yid was making a simcha. I don't know if it was a chasana or a bris or something. He was making some sort of simcha, and since he was a student and a follower of both of these tzaddikim, he invited both of them to a simcha, not realizing that there would be any issue with that. He invited both. So he hired a wagon to pick up Rameir Primizhlaner, and on the way, he instructed the driver that when you pick up Rameir, on your way to the simcha, pick up Rabbi Yudel, a different shtetl. You go to that shtetl, you pick up the next tzaddik, and you'll bring them both. And this Yid thought it'll be very nice. They'll be able to sit together, to talk and learning, whatever it is. He didn't know there was going to be an issue. So the wagon picks up Rameir Primizhlaner, and the wagon is traveling, and someone eventually it takes a turn into this other shtetl where this Rabbi Yudel lived, and stops by Rabbi Yudel's house. Rabbi Yudel comes out, and he gets in the wagon, not realizing who he's going to meet there, and lo and behold, it's Rameir Primizhlaner's in the wagon. So Rameir picks up his hands. He says, my friend Rabbi Yudel, let's farbreng together. Let's talk in learning. Let's schmooze. Rabbi Yudel gives him the cold shoulder. Again, he was a tzaddik, but this is the way he was. He felt very much opposed to the way of Rameir, and he felt that he had to make it clear. So he sat on the bench, on the wagon, but wasn't making eye contact, wasn't talking to Rameir. Now, the whole time Rameir is trying to, get conversation going, asking questions, how's the family, talking, learning, but the whole time nothing's working. Rabbi Yudel is just not paying attention, giving him the cold shoulder, and they're not engaging with each other. Until finally Rameir turns to him and says, Rameir Primizhlaner used to call himself by the third person. So he said, Meir wants to say a story. Can Meir say a story? So Rabbi Yudel doesn't say no, he doesn't say yes, so Rameir takes that as permission. So Rameir Primizhlaner says, everyone knows that the Spanish Inquisition was a very, very terrible, dark period by the Yidden in the world history. Bechlal was a dark period, and it's well known that there were many Jews that Nebuch, under the duress and the pressure of conversion, instead of exiling themselves from Spain, they became Moranos, and they kept Yiddishkeit in secret. But on the outside, they acted like Christians. It's well known. So Rameir said a mice like this. He said there was once an old Yid, and this was a Morano. On the inside, he was a Yid. He acted like a Jew on the inside in privacy of his own home. But on the outside, he acted like a Christian. He converted. And so this Yid, this Morano, was very, very, very elderly, and he was on his deathbed. He was dying. And so the people around him, again, assuming that he lived like a Christian, so he was on his deathbed, they called in the priest to do the spiel that the priests do at the end. So the priest comes, and the priest is going through his Olinian over there, and this person, this elderly man on the deathbed, again, really from a Yid on the inside, he's not paying attention to the Galach, he's not paying attention to the priest, his head is turned, he's not paying attention. Now the Galach sees this, And at some point during the whole proceedings, he turns to everyone in the room and he says, I have to now have some private time with this man. Everyone has to leave. Okay? Everyone leaves. As everyone leaves, the door is closed, the door is locked. The Galach goes over to this old Yid and he says, listen, I know the truth. You're a Yid. I'm also a Yid. He's also Morano. He took the cross off his neck and he said, listen, we both have crazy histories. We both do all sorts of crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, you're a Yid and I'm a Yid. And why can't two Yidden say Kriya Shema together? And that's what they did. So the Galach begins to say Kriya Shema. This old Yid begins to say Kriya Shema. And with that, the old Yid was nifter in a way of Kedushas Yisrael. Rameirel then begins to cry and turn to Rabbi Yudel. He says, listen, Rabbi Yudel, you have your Mahalach, I have my Mahalach. You disagree with me, I disagree with you. But at the end of the day, why can't two Yidden say Kriya Shema? So let's say Kriya Shema together. And at this point, Rabbi Yudel begins to cry. And they're just saying Kriya Shema together. And with that, they became best friends once again. Listen, that's how it works. This time of year, we have to be mechazik and strengthen the union of Avos Yisrael and Achdus. And it doesn't mean to ignore the differences. And it doesn't mean to even belittle the differences. But it means that at the end of the day, whatever type of Yid this is, and whatever type of Yid that is, there's no reason why they can't say Kriya Shema together. What unites us is much deeper than what divides us. We should be zeicha to experience that level of Achdus that comes from Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, from Yechidah Shel Olam, and with that be able to experience all the Shefa Bracha V'Atzlacha that will come to us by Hashem this week. Be exalted, Barachamim, Meher V'Yimenu, Amen.